defeat to Levante, preceded by an unlikely victory against Atletico Madrid. For Espanyol, you have to go all the way back to before the new year and even before Christmas for their last victory, a 2-1 away win against Athletic Bilbao. In their 7 most recent games, they have lost 5, and the only ones that they have drawn were games in which they failed to score. In fact, in their last 7 matches, they have only scored 3 goals. So if you're expecting a high-scoring game, this might not be the place to be. And both of these two teams have sported leaky defences this season. Sevilla having lost 5-2 not so long ago to Barcelona, with the league-leading Blaugrana also undoing Espanyol 4-1 at the Nou Camp just 4 games ago for the visitors. And after a very lengthy delay to the start of this game, the referee appears to be reaching for his whistle. We're still not kicked off at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. And for the life of me, I have no idea what it is that's causing such a lengthy delay. Just for the listener, this game was scheduled for a 3:15 GMT kickoff. We're now 21 minutes past that time, or past 3 o'clock rather. Not 21 minutes past the intended kickoff time, goodness me. I think the league would have had something to say about that. All eyes on the official then. It's not dampening the mood inside the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. Plenty of shouts and chants coming from the majority inside of the stadium wearing Sevilla colours. The Espanyol section of the crowd being drowned out by the overbearing home supporters. Still plenty of enthusiasm as words continue to be had. Just to bring you an audio update as to what's going on here at the Sevilla Stadium, the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. The game is still not kicked off despite being nearly 10 minutes ahead, behind schedule for a delay of some sort, and once clarity is provided on what that is, I will broadcast it to you. Just hang fire. So a very non-specific update then for everybody tuning into this game, which we are still yet to begin at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. This is something that I've not seen in my relatively fledgling commentary career. But a problem with the video assistant referee is about as much information as has been provided so far. The referee still getting a word in his ear that this game is not ready to begin because of a problem with the VAR. So I hope everybody's ready for a long sitting here. We've had a word in the ear now of Javier Alderola Rojas. And now, just about now, 10 minutes after the intended start time, Espanyol get us underway at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. What a load of something and nothing then to start this very, very important football match. And it's not taken long at all for Sevilla to win back possession after the kick-off. It's Jose Carmona on the right-hand side, who was just a little bit too over-aggressively bundled into from behind by Tyrese Dolan of Espanyol. Getting in the way, and I think actually what the referee's blown the whistle for is a handball rather than the contact made between Dolan and Carmona. And it will be a free kick opportunity for Sevilla on the right-hand side, about 20-25 yards back from the right-hand corner of the Espanyol penalty area. Delivery to come from the feet of Ruben Vargas. It's floated towards the back post, headed up into the air, and it's not going to drop for anybody in red and white. It's attempted to be brought down in the box now by Gudelj, the captain. This is going to drop all the way to the back post for Quique Salas, who decided to try the half volley from a very tight angle. Closed down at source, and it's dragged back now to Chidera Ejuke. Making his 50th La Liga appearance for Sevilla this afternoon is the Nigerian winger. And Salas is able to knock down the clearance made off the delivery for Espanyol. Ejuke getting in the way of the smash down the line by Omar El Hilali. And chasing down the loose ball was Calero, going toe-to-toe with Neil Maupay, and able to ping the ball away off the Frenchman for a goal kick for Espanyol. A very lengthy delay then to the start of proceedings at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadion because of a VAR problem. That is as much as we have been informed about when it comes to the reason that this game kicked off 10 minutes later than anticipated. But a long clearance made now by the Espanyol goalkeeper Marko Dimitrovic, chested down by Carmona on the right hand side, and then a bit of pinball in the centre circle has seen it scrambled right the way back to Dimitrovic for Espanyol, launched back into Sevilla territory, unable to be brought down by Ramon Terats, and it's sent back where it came from. Now the chase is on for Ejuke down the left hand side for Sevilla, sheltered back to Dimitrovic, who sends it forward once more, and the head tennis begins now on the edge of the attacking third for Sevilla, and throwing his hat in the ring there to get involved was Nemanja Gudelj. Now it's Quique Salas, the defender, with a launched ball forward, and this ball is doing its very best not to touch the ground. Eventually it falls to Ejuke on the left, and he is able to bring it under his control, but immediately runs into traffic. And a bit of an awkward back pass now made by Gabriel Suazo to Quique Salas has seen him shepherd the ball back to Vlachodimos, the Sevilla goalkeeper. Cleared down to the right-hand side of the pitch. Doesn't quite reach the halfway line before being won back by Espanyol, and Tyrese Dolan now is able to drive down the flank. The delivery is sent back where it came from and brought down inside the penalty area on the left by the overlapping fullback Carlos Romero. He pulls it back now to Gonzalez, whose delivery is teasing, and there was a combination of Terats and Fernandez getting into promising positions there in the middle of the Sevilla box. Neither of them able to get a concrete connection on the header following the delivery. I think the final touch came off of Lucien Agume, the Sevilla number 18 in the middle of the penalty area. And for the first time in this match, in just shy of 4 minutes, we are going to see a corner, and it will go the way of the visitors. An opportunity for Espanyol to flood the box with bodies. Let's see just how damaging they can be. It will be Edu Exposito to send it into the mixer. Right-footed out-swinging delivery. And it was a towering header that was unable to be sent on target by the captain Leandro Cabrera. He's insistent that a Sevilla player got in the way of that header. A man throwing his body into the firing line being Andre Lopez there, and the final touch definitely did come off of the Sevilla defender, which means I think we're about to see a second consecutive corner. The referee's seen what I've seen, and it will be yet another delivery from the right hand side for Edu Exposito. In goes the cross And this time it's headed away for Sevilla, right back out to where it came from, brought down by Exposito. Left-footed delivery this time, not conclusively dealt with. A little bit awkwardly cleared away in the end for Sevilla. And then the follow-up from very deep indeed by Ramon Terats. Leaves plenty to be desired. Launched high over the top of Odysseus Vlachodimos' goal. And as we approach the 5th minute of this match, it will be a goal kick for Sevilla. 0-0 against Espanyol. Edu Exposito on the corner kicks this afternoon for Espanyol is their highest assist maker in the league this season, with 6 to his name. His closest challenger in that regard is Englishman Tyrese Dolan, who's found a new home for himself on the Iberian Peninsula following a career in the English Championship with the likes of Preston North End as a youth player, and then Blackburn Rovers, where he made himself a bit of a fan favourite before his departure in the summer. Here comes Sevilla now down the left-hand side. It's been laid off to Ejuke by Isaac Romero. Romero attempts to thread it back down the line for the overlapping run of Vargas, whose fizz delivery is deflected half away, and there's a brilliant back heel attempt on the corner of the box from Neil Maupay, who may well have been standing in an offside position there as it came towards him. Looking over at the assistant referee, I'm not sure the flag's actually gone up there, but the strike from the edge of the penalty area, Maupay was onside as it was blasted goalwards by Goodelge. It was always going wide, but the intentional redirection of Maupay very nearly caught Dimitrovic completely off guard, but a good reaction save from the Serbian shot stopper, and one he had to make all the same. As long as those VAR problems are fixed, if they were to have a look at that goal for a potential offside, they would not have found one. It's a very good thing that the outstretched right arm of Marko Dimitrovic was in the way for Espanyol. We're going to see a Espanyol goal kick now as the ball is launched forward and attempted to be sent back where it came from by the Espanyol back line. It was Romero battling away to try and get it forward. And now doing the same thing, but wearing Sevilla colours, is Neil Maupay. Dispossessed, and the ball reaches the edge of the centre circle before being recovered for Sevilla by Jose Carmona. Now it's laid off by Agume, and Anders Lopez smashes it from right to left, looking for Ejuke, not going to find him. Challenge made by Suazo before it reaches the halfway line, but Espanyol retain possession. It's attempted to be played forward by El Hilali down the line, closed down at source by Isaac Romero. It will be a throw-in on the right hand side now for Espanyol, about 10 yards in front of the edge of their own penalty area. The goal scorer in Sevilla's most recent game, the only goal scorer in a 1-0 victory over Real Sociedad, which has seen them start this weekend outside of the bottom three, Alexis Sanchez, a player who has spent a career finding the back of the net for the likes of Barcelona, Arsenal and Manchester United. He is on the bench this afternoon, hoping to act as the super sub. Another player with Premier League experience, also on the Sevilla bench, is Cesar Azpilicueta in the twilight of his career. Should he make a substitute appearance today, it would be his 800th game as a player. Here goes Vargas down the left now. This is a good opportunity for Sevilla, and it's a very, very contentious challenge. The referee quick to dismiss the penalty claims. Vargas challenged after taking a touch to drag the ball away from Al Hilali in the penalty area. The sliding challenge misses the ball. The intent is there to get in the way of a cross that is deceptively dragged away from El Hilali by Vargas. And despite no connection on the ball and enough on the man to see him tumble to the ground, the referee is very quick to wave away the appeals as an unintentional challenge made by El Hilali. You've seen plenty of those given. Well, away goes the resultant goal kick for Dimitrovic. Looped up into the air, and it's going to be chased by Dolan. He's not going to get there ahead of Carmona. And it's a clearance that goes high up into the air, but not very far. Carmona gets the opportunity to bring it down now and is able to lay it off to Goodelge. He switches from right to left, looking for Ejuke. Headed back into Sevilla territory now to be mopped up by Quique Salas. And it's Suazzo who is able to find Mope, and now it's Vargas into the penalty area, and his shot is closed down at source on the left-hand side by Calero. And as we approach the 10th minute of this game, we are readying ourselves for a Sevilla corner, their first of the afternoon. Still a question to be asked about that penalty shout. Vargas knew that El Hilali was coming. That challenge just a moment ago. Sevilla will feel very hard done by with that decision. They do have an opportunity now to get the ball into the danger area. Plenty of bodies are waiting surrounding Marko Dimitrovic, the Espanyol goalkeeper. In the end, it's a short corner. It's lifted into the box now by Suazzo, and it's gathered with both hands and not let go of by Marko Dimitrovic. Smothers it on the edge of his 6-yard box, and he will see all of the lurkers out of his penalty area before releasing this one to his defender, Leandro Cabrera. Now here is Calero. Out to El Hilali. Down the line it goes now from the Moroccan. Looking for the slightly inward run of Roberto Fernandez on the edge of the Sevilla defensive third, the Espanyol attacking area of the field, but he's unable to bring it under his control. It goes all the way through in the end to Vlachodimos in between the sticks. Quick to come out and command his penalty area there, the Greek international, and that's a fairly awkward touch in his own defensive third now by Quique Salas. He recovers well enough to take the ball back from Ruben Sanchez and sends a ambitious delivery down the line for the chase of Isaac Romero, whose legs just about give up on him as it bounces out of his reach and into the feet of Dimitrovic on the corner of his own penalty area. He will wait now for Mope to arrive before picking it up with both hands and throwing it past him. Neil Mope knows all the tricks. He uses plenty of them himself. A player no stranger to, shall we say, winding up the opposition fan base. Also no stranger to scoring very important goals. Certainly managed that in a career spent in England for the likes of Brighton, Brentford and Everton. Vargas. Romero dragged down from behind as he approached the attacking third for Sevilla by Calero. Referee very quick on his whistle for that one. Some smart feet by Isaac Romero, taking the defender one way and the ball the other, forcing the outstretched arm of Calero to bring him down. It'll be a free kick for Sevilla now on the left hand side of the pitch, probably about 25 yards back from the corner of the box. Vargas will take, right footed, in swinging delivery. Espanyol creating a line of defenders on the edge of their own box as it's lifted in by Vargas, headed half away, and it's going to be mopped up now by Fernandez. And can Espanyol launch the counter? It's attempted to be driven with a heavy touch down the right hand side by Roberto Fernandez. Just about strays away from him, and Sevilla retake command of the ball with a throw. Lopez out to the right hand side for Carmona. Lopez again. Now Salas, edge of his defensive third, left of centre. Ambitious ball down the left hand side. Nobody in white and red in any mood to chase it down. But Ejuke and Mope now finding themselves on the corner of the Espanyol penalty area as El Hilali readies himself for a throw. First goal in this game, first goal in any game is important, but in this game, in these circumstances, with these two teams so close to the bottom three, will be so important now as Mope brings it down and heads it on well for Ejuke down the left. Ejuke runs into El Hilali and the final touch comes off the Moroccan. Corner for Sevilla. Nicely done there by Chidere Ejuke. Trying to take a touch to drift inside of El Hilali, who struck out a leg and redirected it back where it came from over the touchline and out for what will be another corner for the home team. Plenty of bodies in the box wearing white and red for Vargas to aim at, and this one is a delivery into the danger area, volleyed at the near post, volleyed into the crowd, and then cleared away. Espanyol doing enough of a job there to keep it out of their net. Switch from right to left now as Sevilla try and keep momentum going off that corner. Here is Ejuke. Backwards to Goodell's the captain. He shepherds it all the way back now to Anders Lopez. Now here is Carmona on the right hand side. Lifting it over the top for the run of Mopé, which is spotted in advance by Dimitrovic, who comes out to command his penalty area, smothering the ball and quelling the Sevilla advance. 15 minutes played at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. Sevilla 0, Espanyol 0. Sevilla coming into this game just a point ahead of the relegation places. Espanyol just 2 points further in the clear. A whole 6 places above the drop zone are Espanyol, showing just how tight the race is to avoid the drop in the Spanish top division. They're partnered in their battle for survival by the likes of Elche, Valencia, Mallorca, Girona, all of whom are within touching distance of the bottom 3. Currently Alaves, Levante and bottom of the table Real Oviedo, who have little hope at this stage of survival. Delivered into the danger area from deep now for Espanyol, headed back out where it came from, and Ejuke can try and spark the counter for Sevilla. Not without running into traffic. Challenge made on the halfway line for Espanyol. Made smartly by Ramon Terrats on the recovery. And eventually Dimitrovic is given possession of the ball by his defenders. Away it goes now by the Serb. It's misjudged in the Sevilla half of the field by Suazo. And it's attempted to be threaded through by Uco Gonzalez now down the right hand side for the run of Ruben Sanchez, which is intercepted well. And this might allow Sevilla to create something for themselves as they get over the halfway line. It was Goodell whose ball forward was intercepted, and a return one from Sanchez on the right for Espanyol. Can't quite find Fernandez. Terrats sticking a foot in and getting clipped for his troubles by Agume. His appeals fall on deaf ears on the right hand side of the attacking third for Espanyol, and Sevilla will play their way out of danger now with Goodell laying it off to his defender in Salas. Salas again. And now here is Lopez. Andres Lopez is the designated ball pinger, it would seem, for Sevilla in this match. Every time there's been a ambitious ball over the top of the Espanyol back line, or at least attempted to be one of those kinds of passes, it's come from the feet of the number 32. Might get another opportunity to do that now as the return gesture is made by Espanyol. It's brought down on the halfway line instead by Agume, and his pass forward is very easily intercepted for Espanyol, and they can advance now into Sevilla territory. Chasing a loose ball down the right hand side is Ruben Sanchez, not going to get there ahead of Carlos Romero. And then the ball is carelessly given away by Goodels, trying to find the feet of Vargas on the left. Smart touch by Terrats getting forward, and here come Espanyol. Dolan approaching the edge of the penalty area, laying it off and getting the return from the left back in Romero, but he's not quite able to smother it beyond Odysseus Vlachodimos, who comes out to throw his body on top of it, and I think might have caught a body part of Tyrese Dolan's, whether it's his knee, his foot, or an errant elbow to the side of his head. As he got both hands on the ball, he's been clattered into by the Englishman. It's a very smart 1-2 between Romero and Dolan to create that opportunity. Vlachodimos knew exactly what he needed to do, and he would have known full well that he could have got hurt doing it. And yet the job is done, and the clean sheet is preserved for now after a very smart attacking move by the visitors. 20 minutes on the clock. Sevilla 0, Espanyol 0. This game did kick off 10 minutes later than expected due to a VAR problem unspecified. Don't you just hate it when your computer at work tells you that there's an unexpected error and then refuses to elaborate? That feels like exactly what's happened at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium this afternoon. Suazo with a throw now just ahead of the halfway line for Sevilla. Able to find Eduque, who attempts the 1-2 with Godelj. Doesn't quite come off in the way that it would have been hoped for Sevilla. And Exposito wins it back, and it's fished out to the left for Romero, who's in a bit of room but still in the Espanyol half of the pitch. Laid off to his captain Cabrera, Uruguayan defender. The only Uruguayan representation in this squad as well. Majority who wear the Espanyol colours represent the nation in which they play their club football. Save for the goalkeeper Dimitrovic, the right back El Hilali, the captain Cabrera, Dolan on the left hand side of the forward line. Eduque, another non-Spanish native, is caught in the crossfire of a 50-50 there that's gone against him according to the referee, stepping on the toes of Edu Exposito. Free kick is awarded Espanyol's way from a fraction inside of the Sevilla half on the right. Actually, consider that more than a fraction, maybe 15-20 yards. And on the 21st minute, there is going to be a minute's applause here for everybody inside of the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. We'll elaborate on that shortly as the free kick is floated into the penalty area by Exposito, punched back out where it came from by Vlachodimos. For a throw on the right hand side for Espanyol. It's Daniel Harque who is the recipient of the round of applause on the 21st minute to mark his shirt number. Previous Espanyol player who Espanyol captain in fact, who passed away in 2009, remembered today with a minute's applause. He spent his entire career with today's visitors. A very well received gesture around the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. Back to the game then. Sevilla corner to come. Bit of a distraction from the on-field action there to commemorate a well-respected player in Espanyol's history. Excuse me, I misspoke. An Espanyol corner to come, as Exposito delivers from the right-hand side, in swinging, headed half away for Sevilla. Nodded down towards the right-hand side again, this time by Carlos Romero. Doesn't find Exposito before being intercepted. Sevilla attempt to get it forward down the left. It was being chased all the way by Eduque, but shepherded back to his goalkeeper Dimitrovic by Calero. And the first time clearance is made by Marko Dimitrovic that goes coast to coast. Vlachodimos takes full control of the ball on the edge of his own box and rolls it out to Jose Carmona. Now it's Andres Lopez to Quique Salas. And to complete the quartet, here is Gabriel Suazo. He's the one that launches it forward, right the way down the line. Eduque decides he's not chasing down the loose ball. It's going to be food and drink here between Dimitrovic and Calero, you would imagine. Calero very nearly caught in possession by the pressure of Isaac Romero, chasing that right the way to the corner of the box. Between the Espanyol goalkeeper and defender, neither of them could decide who was going to smother the loose ball as it was blasted down the line for Sevilla. In the end they made up their mind and got the job done, and now here they come on the counter. Smart touch on the right by Ruben Sanchez, but the second lets him down, taking it a bit too heavy and allowing the intervention to be made by Quique Salas. He drags it out to the edge of the attacking third before it's won back, and there's going to be a shot from the edge of the penalty area by Fernandez, which is punched wide by Vlachodimos. Espanyol corner. That's the first really important save of the game for Odysseus Vlachodimos to palm that one wide from the edge of the box. That was Sevilla's own doing, really, that allowed them to concede that opportunity. Salas, who tried to drag the ball out of the defensive third before having his pocket picked, and then the ball fell kindly to the edge of the box for the strike at goal that Vlachodimos had to save. The follow-up will be a corner for Espanyol. Exposito will take it. That allows the likes of Cabrera and Calero to get forward. It's the fourth corner of the afternoon. Exposito's delivery is deeper than it has been so far, right to the edge of the box where Cabrera is unable to get purchase on a header, and then very nearly has his pocket picked by his opposite number in Gudelj. And the final touch is off of Cabrera. That goes for a Sevilla throw on the left-hand side. Well, that was possibly the most wasteful corner that Espanyol could have managed in that situation. 25 minutes into this game. Sevilla 0, Espanyol 0. Here is Ejuke doing well to avoid and evade and get into the centre circle before being dragged back right under the nose of the referee, who can not stand by and watch as Urco Gonzalez gets both hands on the shirt of Chidera Ejuke. There are a few complaints to be had from Urco Gonzalez as the referee for the first time this afternoon reaches into his book. And the name of Urco Gonzalez is taken by Mr. Rojas, the man in charge of this match. He'll be walking on eggshells for the foreseeable future. Here is Ejuke, feinting this way and that down the left-hand side, looking to take Sanchez for a ride. He's got an overlap from Suazo if he wants it. Ejuke digs out space for the cross, chested down by Mope. Vargas hits it on the edge of the penalty area, closed down at source. The follow-up from Gudelj is met by the same result. Picked up by Carmona and fished back out to the left. Suazo's ball into the penalty area, chased by Romero with a bit too much on it. And it'll go away for an Espanyol goal kick. A good opportunity there for Sevilla to create something for themselves. Some good work on the left by Ejuke to persevere amidst 3 or 4 blue and yellow shirts. Dig out the cross. The knockdown was clever by Mope. The strike was ambitious from Vargas. Dimitrovic's clearance sees Quique Salas going up for the ball. Now crumpled to the ground after a collision with Roberto Fernandez. Doesn't appear to be much in it, but the arm of Fernandez is outstretched as he jumps for the ball to chest it down. Just how much contact there is between that and the nose of Quique Salas has only been known to the Espanyol number 9 and the Sevilla number 4, but the referee is concerned enough about the well-being of the Sevilla defender to award a free kick in their direction. Here is Carmona as Sevilla look to play their way out of their defensive third following that set piece. Lopez decides against the long ball forward, lays it off to Suazo. He's the man that will drive it low to the halfway line, and the touch from Romero lets him down, and his attempt to win it back is a little bit too over-familiar with Edu Exposito, who is brought down. Referee awards a free kick on the halfway line for Espanyol, slightly right of centre, just about on the edge of the centre circle. Exposito, the free kick maestro for Espanyol. He will take it forward. Rather than delivering it into the box, he delivers it out to the right-hand side. And the attempted header is Ruben Sanchez's, and this time it's Suazo's turn to go down in a heap for Sevilla. Ruben Sanchez doing his best to encourage Suazo back to his feet. I think it might be more of an awkward landing than anything for Suazo. It's his right leg that appears to be causing him some grief. That's what he's reaching for, as he's helped back to his feet now by his goalkeeper. He certainly is favouring his right leg. Very gingerly dodges away from the scene of the crime. Free kick awarded Sevilla's way. And away it goes from Vlachodimos. Damage dealt with. Right the way out for an Espanyol throw. We've reached the half-hour mark then at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. It remains Sevilla 0, Espanyol 0 in this relegation six-pointer in La Liga. These two teams remain just 1 and 3 points respectively ahead of the relegation zone. A point either way would do both teams some good, but it would also encourage many of the teams around them to take full advantage of the two that they were missing. A loss in a game like this would be hugely detrimental at this stage, and Sevilla know all about that, having fallen at the feet of relegation zone Levante just 3 games ago, excuse me. Here come Espanyol. Terats smartly out to the right hand side, Sanchez into the middle, and it's blasted towards goal. First time by Omar El Hilali. Blasted directly into the outstretched leg of a Sevilla defender. And I think that will go for a goal kick. A throw-in, not a goal kick. It'll either be a throw-in or a corner, depending which side of the corner flag that it fell on. Definitely is going to be a throw for El Hilali to take now. He won it. He has the opportunity to get it into the danger area. Long throw then from the Moroccan. Headed half away for Sevilla by Lopez. Collision on the right hand side, just about still in the Sevilla defensive third. It's Calero who's gone down after a one-on-one with Isaac Romero, who's now having cross words with Omar El Hilali. Calero seems to slip underneath Romero and then be stood on by the Sevilla number 7, who didn't know much about the situation really, but is generally the more aggressive party in that exchange. The referee has found in favour of the Espanyol man. Free kick to come on the right hand side, an opportunity to deliver into the penalty area for Espanyol. About 10 yards back from the corner of the Sevilla penalty area. The game is just delayed ever so slightly as the medical staff take a look at Calero, who's still yet to get back to his feet here. Collision with Romero seems to have really taken quite a bit out of him. He does contort his body in a very unnatural way as he goes to the ground. There's a real tangling of legs between Calero and Romero. He just seems to twist his entire torso around from his hips as he lands on the ground. And it is his right hip that he's favouring now as he makes his way off the field. He might have just twisted himself up a little too harshly. He's going to be helped to the touchline, and I don't think it's going to be a substitution straight away. But Espanyol are readying themselves for a worst case scenario, as Espanyol readies himself for this free kick. One-man wall. Exposito's delivery is deep. Vlachodimos' punch is emphatic. And the header away is definitive for Sevilla. It's going to be chased down by Romero now, the Espanyol left-back. Shepherded back to Dimitrovic, who sends it right the way back where it came from with a first-time clearance. Nodded down by Lopez for Sevilla, and that goes right the way out for a throw on the left for Espanyol. 10 yards back from being level with the edge of the box. Calero making his way gingerly back onto the field. Espanyol back to 11 as we approach the 35th minute of this game. 10 to play before the break. In an alternate universe, this game kicked off on time and we've already reached the half-time whistle. In another alternate universe, I suppose it's probably 4-4, but that to one side. This game delayed by technical difficulties. That is the easiest way of putting it. A VAR problem. is about as much description as we were given. But we got there in the end. And it will be a throw on the left-hand side now for Espanyol, from a yard or so behind the halfway line. It's a yard that's made up by a couple of cheeky steps by Carlos Romero. And as Dolan attempts to turn and drive forward down the line, he's been dispossessed, and it's seen back to Vlachodimos, who launches it forward. The flick on is Mopé's, and the chase is Romero's. Lifted up into the air off the foot of an Espanyol defender, nodded down by El Hilali. Back the way it came from for Sevilla from the halfway line. El Hilali forced again to make a clearance that goes higher in the air than it did further away. Now the head tennis recommences on the edge of the centre circle, still inside of the Espanyol half, and as Mopé knocks it onto Romero, he's had his pocket picked, and all of a sudden here come Espanyol down the right hand side, and the challenge made on Sanchez on the recovery there was expertly timed by Gabriel Suazo, and he can now take it away down the left. Interception made in return, this time by Omar El Hilali. Suazo had to get that right as he slid in on Sanchez just a second ago. If he'd missed the ball and taken the man, it would have been a free kick and almost definitely a yellow card. If he'd missed both, then Sanchez would have been able to drive right the way in behind the Sevilla back line there. Instead he took the ball, maybe did take the man a little bit as well, but not to the point where the referee had anything to say about it. Throw in on the left for Sevilla. It's Vargas who trades passes with Ejuki. Backwards to Salas. Back out to Suazo, now Ejuki again. Waits for company and he finds it in Vargas. And the delivery is deep, but a bit too deep for Romero. Right on top of Dimitrovic, who rolls it straight out to Romero. Romero dragged down from behind by his namesake. That is Carlos Romero of Espanyol being fouled by Isaac Romero of Sevilla. Interesting that it's taken as long as 37 minutes in this game for the two players, one of whom is a defender, the other an attacker, who share a surname, to go toe-to-toe for a loose ball, but there it is, and on this occasion it's the Espanyol man who's won out in the referee's favour. Cleared away off the free kick now by Cabrera, and not very comfortably dealt with by Andres Lopez on the defensive line for Sevilla. Half clearance goes for a throw on the left, halfway into the Sevilla half of the pitch. Helped across the back line now for Espanyol to El Hilali. And the touch by Terrat completely leaves Ejuke in the dust. Forces the Nigerian to stick out a leg and foul his man. A few complaints to be had about that one. Free kick for Espanyol. A shade inside of Sevilla territory as Terrat just reaches for his right thigh. He looks to be in a little bit of discomfort too. No substitutions have been necessary at this stage, but Espanyol appear to be the team a bit more compromised in the injury department. So far in this match, they've had more scares. Free kick is taken after Terrat is helped back to his feet. No need for the intervention of the medical staff on this occasion, which is a nice relief for Manolo Gonzalez, as a challenge is made on the halfway line now that the referee finds in favour of Sevilla, made from behind by Terrat, who appears to be firing on all cylinders again, getting stuck into the action, getting a bit too close for comfort with Lucien Agume. This free kick is going to be left now to Quique Salas. In fact, it's instead going to be taken over by Goodelj, who does what the referee wants, as dragging the ball to the edge of the centre circle. Quite a distinctive look on Nemanja Goodelj. Quite a thick black headband being sported by the Sevilla captain. Of course, the armband goes some way to distinguishing him from his teammates when you're watching from a distance. Goodelj to Suazo. From the left-hand side of the pitch, a deep-lying position to the right-hand side of the box. The knockdown is Mopé's. The clearance is inconclusive. And the loose ball is chased all the way down by Ejuke. He got the final touch, it seems, there, despite the pleas of Ruben Vargas. Throw in to come on the right-hand side for Espanyol. At level with their own penalty spot. El Hilali will take his time with this, as we see this goalless game into the 40th minute. El Hilali's throw is met by an immediately emphatic clearance. Isaac Romero. Second throw leads to a flick on, which Dolan is chasing down the loose ball with Carmona. Looks to try and push Carmona in the back and then goes down himself. I'm not sure what he was hoping for there, but the referee wasn't biting. Carmona from left to right now, brought down by Agume. Laid off to Ejuke, whose delivery is teasing but a bit too heavy for Mope, who was making his way into the penalty area right at the edge of the box as it floated over the top of him and into the arms of Marko Dimitrovic. What exactly happened here between Carmona and Dolan? It looks as though the push from the Englishman in the back sees Carmona raise an arm just to try and hold off the pressure, and whether it's a direct finger in the eye or just a flick of dirt or whatever else from underneath the nails of Jose Carmona seems to catch Tyrese Dolan in the eye, and he's trying to blink his way back into reality as the game continues with Suazo driving down the left. He's caught in possession right on the halfway line. Exposito trying to fight his way through three players in white, not able to do that. Nagume will drag it back into Espanyol territory, attempts to slide it into the path of Ejuke. The half interception finds Vargas now, and he gets central from the left. Laid off to Carmona, back to Vargas. Vargas goes for goal, and it's awkward. It will take 2 tries here for Dimitrovic to smother, but he bats it down into the ground before letting it cross his goal line, and then collects before there's any potential rebound for the likes of Romero. Too hot to handle there, that strike from Ruben Vargas. More of the chances in this game have gone to Sevilla, there's no doubt about that. Dimitrovic making a save just now, and a much more impressive one in the relatively early stages to deny a redirected shot from the edge of the box from Neil Mope. At the time he didn't realise it was a save he had to make, as almost everybody in the ground expected the offside flag to be raised, but it wasn't, and that was correct in the end. So the duties of Dimitrovic to stop the ball going in needed to be fulfilled, and were. Vlachodimos has made a save or two as well for Sevilla, notably denying Exposito from the edge of the penalty area about 20 minutes ago. Dolan runs into traffic on the left hand side now for Espanyol. Here is Quique Salas, left of centre, laying it off to his left back in Suazo, and it's clipped forward to be chested down inside of the Espanyol half by Vargas. He lays it off to Ejuke. Ejuke being dragged back from behind by El Hilali. Referee awards a free kick and nothing more, despite the shrug of the shoulders from Ejuke. Referee, what am I to do in a situation like this? Does he deserve a yellow card for that one? There's already been one awarded in this half of the game to Urco Gonzalez for a very blatant shirt pull. But we're now at 6 for 6 in terms of fouls committed by these two teams. Quite literally 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, as Vargas readies himself for this set-piece delivery from left of centre for Sevilla. Body's getting to the edge of the penalty area, wearing both shirt colours. It's Vargas to deliver, and it's definitely often Espanyol head and over the top of their own goal for a Sevilla corner. The man reaching it before anybody was Ruben Sanchez. A fairly unimpeded header there for Sanchez. Maybe he ought to have leapt into the air and tried to get some purchase behind it rather than simply redirecting it over his own crossbar, but Vargas has another opportunity to deliver into the box now, and it'll be a much more crowded penalty area than what it was from that free kick. Right-footed in swinger from from Ruben Vargas. Looped up into the air off the head of an Espanyol player, and attempted to be driven out of danger by Tyrese Dolan. He reaches the centre circle when it's launched back where it came from. Dolan again on the edge of the centre circle. Determined to keep this counter-attack going now are Espanyol. Here is Roberto Fernandez, and That looked like a real rugby collision there between Fernandez and Terats. The referee finds in favour of neither man. The game proceeds. There was a correction. It's not Terats, it's Suazo, excuse me. Terats wearing, of course, the colours of Espanyol today. I'm just misreading shirt numbers all over the place as they spiral to the ground. It was a very heavy collision between Roberto Fernandez and Gabriel Suazo, neither of whom have recovered. What exactly happens here? It looks as though Fernandez... Oh, he slips over the ball. Well, that's really unfortunate there, because he takes a touch and completely stumbles. And as a result, his legs kick up and completely wipe out Gabriel Suazo. That really did look like a WWE move rather than a rugby tackle. Perhaps I'm inaccurate with my first description. Well, both sets of medical teams are on the field after that drop toe hold from one man to the other. And then both are completely okay as the fourth official's board is raised. It'll be 2 minutes at the end of this first half. We have reached the 45th minute. In fact, we're about to reach the 46th. And Suazo is back to his feet after that very unexpected, very acrobatic collision that he just took. Both players dragged to the touchline here, and they'll be allowed back onto the field following the resultant drop ball in favour of Sevilla. Whether or not the referee will be a little bit generous with the 2 additional minutes at the end of this half, because 90 seconds of it has been taken up by this incident between Suazo and Fernandez. Vargas will take the opportunity from the return to play to deliver into the penalty area as if it were a free kick from the left-hand side. It's unconvincingly flicked on by Calero, but a bit more convincingly cleared by Carlos Romero. And Sevilla will bring it back under their command inside their own half. Here we go right the way back to Lacodimos. And as he makes his clearance, we're going to tick into the 47th minute, which is 2+ at the end of the first 45. What have you got to say, Mr. Rojas? The referee lets the game continue for now. Suazo. Carmona looks to smash it in behind for the run of Vargas. The clearance is higher than it is further away from Cabrera. Throw-in on the right for Sevilla. Referee is going to let the game continue for now. An opportunity for a long throw to be taken by Jose Carmona. This might be last chance saloon of the first half to break the deadlock. Mopes is the flick on. The overhead kick is ambitious from Goodels. Chasing it down is Romero. Not dealt with, and eventually it's going to be fished wide of the post, and a very awkward bounce indeed allows Espanyol to make the clearance from just inside of the 6-yard box. Dimitrovic is down now after his collision, following his attempt to punch the ball away. I'm not sure the referee's blown up for half-time just yet. It was an overhead kick from Goodels that sent the ball high into the sky. It's punched down by Dimitrovic, who lands a little awkwardly on his right foot. And then it's attempted to be hooked into what was a virtually empty goal by Romero before being cleared. Well, Dimitrovic appears to be okay. Back up to his feet. Again, just a bit of an awkward landing, but now we're 3.5 minutes into the additional 2 at the end of this first half for a game that was meant to kick off an hour ago. 10-minute delay before that happened. And the minutes keep ticking on now after the 45 minutes have been played. Well, the next action of the game will be a Sevilla throw-in on the left-hand side, unless the referee does drag it back for the injury scare to Dimitrovic, the Espanyol goalkeeper. Well, this was blown again, and it will be a throw, and it'll be taken by Quique Salas, and he is determined to get this from about 40 yards away, right the way into the penalty area. It's a towering throw from Salas, brought down by Ejuke. Pass backwards, and the game still continues as Suazo lifts it back into the danger area. Dimitrovic goes up, smothers it with both hands, and finally this first half comes to a close, I believe. Referee indicating to his watch. There it is. There is the actual half-time whistle. Just a few more seconds wouldn't hurt anybody, I suppose. Well, half-time then at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. It has been an interesting one to say the least, but not in terms of what's happened on the pitch. More injury scares and opportunities at goal after a 10-minute delay to the start of this game due to technical difficulties with VAR. What else is new, I suppose? There have been chances for the likes of Neil Maupay and Ruben Vargas for Sevilla, denied by Marko Dimitrovic for Espanyol. And they've also gone the other way in terms of opportunities for Edu Exposito, where Odysseus Vlachodimos has had to make his presence felt in between the sticks. But as these two teams look over their shoulder at those in peril of relegation, it's half-time in Seville, and it's Sevilla 0, Espanyol 0. Tune in 15 minutes or so for the second half of this live audio coverage. Good afternoon and welcome back to this live audio coverage of this La Liga clash between Sevilla and Espanyol at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. My name is Jay Cooper and I will be your commentator for the next 45 minutes or so, barring any unforeseen delays, just as there were to this first half, with both teams getting ready to get back on the stadium in Seville. There is one change to make you aware of for the hosts. Alexis Sanchez, who scored the winner in Sevilla's most recent game, a 1-0 victory over Real Sociedad, which sees them out of the bottom three as it stands, is brought onto the field in place of Isaac Romero. Beyond that, Espanyol remain unchanged from the first half, which is an unchanged lineup from that were defeated by Real Madrid in their most recent game prior to this one. The game earlier in the day between Elche and Alaves, two teams also involved in this very extensive relegation battle in La Liga, has finished a goal apiece, which means that as of right now, Sevilla are being kept out of the bottom three on head-to-head records alone, not including the result that they are currently campaigning for in this match against Espanyol. The home team now, minus Alexis Sanchez, who's already been brought onto the field as a substitute, are now making their way back out of the tunnel at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. They have been preceded onto the pitch by their visitors today in Espanyol. Sevilla in their all-white strip with the red trim, coming out to a thunderous applause from a mostly packed stadium under the sunlight, which is growing a little dimmer as the day progresses. The clouds are starting to come out in this corner of Spain, which hopefully for neither of these two teams will forebode what is to come in this second 45. It will be Sevilla who get us kicked off for the second half of this game, kicking from left to right, maintaining their 4-4-2 formation. Alexis Sanchez now partners Neil Maupay in the forward line. Espanyol with a 4-2-3-1 from right to left in the navy blue number with the yellow and red trim to boot. The man in charge of this game, who was forced to delay kickoff in the first half, Javier Alberola Rojas, getting a word in his ear from Valentin Pizarro Gomez, the man behind the VAR, which caused a few problems in advance of the first half. No such problems in advance of the second, and Sevilla get us kicked off for the second half of this relegation battle 6-pointer. It's not taken them long to reach the edge of the Espanyol penalty area right from the kickoff, and the knockdown is the captain, Nemanja Gudeljes. Now on the left-hand side, good work by Chidera Ejuke to get into the box, and the back heel is Vargas's. It's laid off by Maupay, it's across the face by Carmona, it's volleyed goalwards, and it's tapped in for the first touch of the game for Alexis Sanchez. 28 seconds into this first half, Alexis Sanchez brought onto the field at half-time, and with his very first touch of the ball, he has broken the deadlock at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. What a start then to this second half after a nothing first half, with both of these two teams creating opportunities that were few and far between. The ball pinballs around the penalty area following some very impressive work by Chidera Ejuke. Takes it right to the byline, to the edge of the 6-yard box before a ball across the face. The back heel attempt is Maupay's. The back heel attempt is Vargas's. And then Carmona plays it from right to left across the penalty area, back to Vargas, whose shot is deflected right into the path of Sanchez. There's no offsides, despite the cluster of players and the ball bouncing all over the place inside of the Espanyol box. But for fans who are just about emerging from the tunnel, from the gangways inside of this stadium, they have come out to a sea of support for Sevilla, whose goal has been scored. It is going to be checked by the VAR. I'm not entirely sure what for. The shot comes in. Oh, it is a very, very close offside decision here. In fact, it might just be a fraction off for all of that. The Vargas strike on the half volley both Sanchez and Urco Gonzalez on the edge of the 6-yard box, and it appears that Sanchez is just about in advance of the last defender. Gonzalez is the last man back for Espanyol as they do their best to clear their lines, and it appears Sevilla's dream start to this second half is going to be chalked off by VAR. The referee's arm is raised. That will be offside. Well, that's a dampener on the mood. Sevilla thought that they'd started the second half with the most perfect way of doing so. Alexis Sanchez's first touch saw the ball over the goal line, and the celebrations were not to be silenced right up until a VAR review. Sanchez just about standing a fraction ahead of the Espanyol defence as they clustered together inside their own penalty area. That's why VAR is in effect, and that's why when there's problems with the VAR, the games can't start, because just as quickly as that, they could be necessary. Well, here is Sanchez again, lifting it towards Neal Maupay into the penalty area. There's a bit too much on it from the Chilean. Over the top of everybody, including Maupay, and out for what will be an Espanyol goal kick. Well, it's a real shame for Alexis Sanchez, who thought he was about to go 2 for 2 in terms of opening goals in La Liga games after coming off the bench for Sevilla. Still plenty of time for it yet. We're just shy of 5 minutes into this second half. First 5 minutes which has been dominated by a Sevilla goal chalked off by VAR. We remain deadlocked then in Seville. Here is the defender Quique Salas for Sevilla. Down the left-hand side of the pitch for it to be relatively easily intercepted by Urco Gonzalez. And now he's allowed to drive forward 30 yards to the corner of the box before laying it off. It's attempted to be delivered by Ruben Sanchez, who stood up at source by Gabriel Suazo. Throw-in to come now for Espanyol on the right. It's a throw-in that you have to imagine will act as a corner kick here, with bodies getting into the penalty area for Omar El Hilali to aim for. Decides against the long throw in the end. El Hilali trades passes with Gonzalez. Now he pulls it back to Calero. Calero back to the captain Leandro Cabrera, and he lifts it into the box, and the chase is on now for Sanchez. He is going to get there before it goes out, but his cross comes shot across the face of the Sevilla goal. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Sevilla make the clearance from left to right. It's Suazo looking for the feet of Ruben Vargas. In the end, everybody misses out on bringing the ball down, and it goes for a Sevilla throw on the right. Just took a nick on its way through. Isaac Romero brought off the field after the first half for Alexis Sanchez. You have to wonder if he thinks he might have held his run just a little bit more so than his replacement managed. That offside call is so tight because the arm is the most stretched out thing of both of those players. It's always a question of where do VAR draw the line. It's the furthest point of the clothing or the outstretched knees or boots, anything that is legally allowed to touch a ball in a game of football. And the furthest thing back for Gonzalez in that very tight offside decision was his sleeve, and the same applies to the almost the entirety of the upper body of Alexis Sanchez. It's going to be a free kick now for Espanyol, just about inside of the Sevilla half of the pitch on the left. Played short by Romero, to Dolan, who has his pocket picked. And now the Sevilla counter is on. Down the right-hand side, Vargas was chasing. Cabrera gets in the way, but the clearance is not an emphatic one. Throw-in taken quickly by Carmona. Tries to play the 1-2 with Alexis Sanchez. Vargas gets involved, and Sanchez now reaches it in an offside position again. This time the assistant referee wasting no time, raising the flag. Sanchez saying, was that me or was that him, pointing at his teammate Vargas, and I think the assistant referee concurs with the Sevilla substitute that it was in fact Ruben Vargas standing in an advanced position of everybody else on the pitch. Game will resume now with a free kick taken by Marko Dimitrovic, the Espanyol goalkeeper. He launches it right the way up the field, almost reaches the penalty area before it bounces. It is headed down by Andres Lopez, and this time Carmona gets underneath it. Sevilla trading passes between their own defensive line to eventually clear it away, and the referee now awards a free kick in favour of Espanyol, not for the attempted clearance made by Lopez, but Carmona, who returned the ball to his fellow defender. In doing so, has bundled his way. Oh, in fact, it is the clearance. It's made by Carmona, but he scissor kicks the ball almost. A mirror of a very famous goal scored by Paulo Di Canio in the Premier League. And as he brings his foot down, he scrapes it right the way down the spine of Roberto Fernandez. That did not look pleasant. And for just general recklessness, free kick is awarded. It'll go the way of Espanyol. To be taken by Exposito. He was the man over the top of all of the set pieces that Espanyol had in the first half. Right-footed in-swinging delivery. Excuse me. Headed away, and the heavy touch benefits Eduque more than anybody now for Sevilla as he drives his way out to the left-hand side. He's stood up by Ruben Sanchez. Who concedes the throw, and it's a throw-in that is eventually sent back to Odysseas Vlachodimos. And that's a bit of a risky touch by Andres Lopez as he receives the short pass from his goalkeeper on the edge of his own penalty area to twist and turn away from the advancing Espanyol forwards. But they do just about enough, Sevilla. Only to lose possession just about inside of the Sevilla half, and it's Dolan who twists and shoots, and it's a good save from Vlachodimos in the end. That came from very little there for Tyrese Dolan, but he had a very, very prominent thought in mind as he picked the ball up 40 yards away. Twisting around the midfielder Gudelj. Very creatively done by the Englishman. As soon as a space presented itself from 30 yards away, he put everything he had into it. Vlachodimos had to get right behind it. Beaten away to his left-hand side, and the half clearance results in an Espanyol throw now, which is taken on the right. Carmona. Sevilla with the ball back. It's a good sliding challenge made, and now Dolan again. 25 yards away, tries to get the ball out of his feet again. That one's much more wayward than the other one, but it's Fernandez who returns it across the face. Tyrese Dolan! 1-0 to Espanyol. Tyrese Dolan, in about a minute of play, has had 3 bites at the cherry, getting closer and closer to the Sevilla goal with each opportunity. And from inside the box, after Sevilla couldn't clear their lines, 10 minutes into this first half, the Englishman gives the away side the first goal of the game. Well, just 28 seconds into this second half, Sevilla thought that they'd taken the lead through Alexis Sanchez. VAR said something different. And now the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium is silenced by Tyrese Dolan. Well, the initial strike from the Englishman left plenty to be desired, but the determination of Roberto Fernandez to reach it before it went out of play and send it back where it came from, right into the middle of the danger area where Dolan had made his presence felt. The ball has just about enough on it to get over the head of Andres Lopez. And Dolan brings it down with one touch and buries it in the bottom right-hand corner of Vlachodimos' goal with the second. At full stretch, the Greek goalkeeper cannot reach it. And it's a celebration worthy of such an important goal in such an important game in this relegation battle in La Liga. It's advantage Espanyol. And Sevilla with another roll of the dice now as the game recommences with their kickoff. Off goes Lucien Agume, and on comes Djibril Sow, who has scored the second most amount of goals of anybody in this Sevilla team this season, with 5, behind only Akor Adams, who remains on the bench this afternoon for Sevilla. Well, they've wasted little time getting into the attacking third now. Djibril Sow takes his first touch of the ball after a throw-in on the right by Carmona. Now it's back with the defender Salas. From the middle out towards the right-hand side. Chase is made by Sanchez. He isn't going to reach it. And as Espanyol attempt to bring it down on the halfway line, there's a touch from Sanchez that really lets him down. Djibril Sow does well not to run into traffic, able to lay it off to Suazo. It's laid off to the left now for Ejuke. Still going now is Chidera Ejuke. Eventually the foot-in is made by Omar El Hilali. Sevilla immediately recover the ball, switch it from left to right. It's Carmona who wins a throw after his delivery is closed down at source. Carmona trading passes with Lopez. Now here is Salas. Sevilla having to rebuild then. They're a goal down in this very important battle at the bottom of the La Liga table. In fact, to say the bottom of the table is perhaps a bit disingenuous, because Espanyol came into this game 13th in the league, but that did not mean that they were any more than 3 points ahead of the drop zone. And with Alaves sitting in 18th, having drawn today and earned a point of their own, that gap would have been closed were it not for that Tyrese Dolan goal. As it stands, Espanyol have given themselves a very important opportunity to advance away from the bottom 3. Sevilla, not so much. Here they come down the right now. Carmona. It's a deflected delivery towards the penalty area, which is going to be food and drink for Marko Dimitrovic. They need the support of everybody inside the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium this afternoon now as we approach the hour mark. Sevilla 0, Espanyol 1. Tyrese Dolan the goal scorer. Coast-to-coast clearance now by Marko Dimitrovic, which is food and drink for Odysseus Vlachodimos. Out to the defender Lopez. And as it attempts to be rolled into the path of Carmona on the right, he makes the mistake of waiting for it, and the challenge is made by Dolan, goes straight out for a throw. And the referee awards a free kick here to Carmona, because as Dolan stuck a foot in there, he was the victim of a push, according to Mr. Rojas, the man in charge of this game. A eye roll of disagreement from Jose Carmona there, as the two men just had a bit of a coming together following Dolan's interception. It's not the most emphatic of collisions between the two men, but it's one that the Englishman seemingly really felt the effects of. Free kick just inside the Sevilla half now for Espanyol. Floated forward by Cabrera. Dolan was the target, headed centrally and without much distance on it. It's Urco Gonzalez who manages to lay it off, and the shot comes in from Ruben Sanchez. Fancied himself from 25 yards. Getting down and getting everything behind it was Vlachodimos, who is able to smother it at the second attempt, and as Dolan collides with Vargas, the referee says play on, advantage because Sevilla maintained possession, but the way that Vargas was crumpled to the ground there, that looked like a clothesline. It wasn't, but that was a very heavy collision, much heavier than the one between Dolan and Carmona just a moment ago. And yet Vargas springs back to his feet and shouts in the direction of the referee. What does he have to do? Here is Vargas again on the right then. It's the return from Sow. Vargas into the feet of Salas, and now Suazo. Everybody for Espanyol currently behind the ball as Sevilla make their way into the opposite half. Dribble so. Sanchez driving to the right hand corner of the box, attempts to slip it through the legs of Urco Gonzalez, who makes the interception before the pass can find Vargas. It's not taken long for Sevilla to win back possession. Another advantage played after a challenge on Carmona on the right. Here is Mopé. Laid off to the left hand side now for Ijuke. Twisting and turning. This is how he created that disallowed goal. Ijuke's deflected delivery. Mopé holds it up into the penalty area now. It's Suazo. It's delivered across the face and it's going to be hit by Carmona. And it's wide of the near post from Jose Carmona. No deflections on its way through either. That's the end of that Sevilla attack. A gasp all the way around this stadium as the ball flies wide of Dimitrovic's near post. And two more substitutions are readied for Sevilla. We're going to see the introductions of Juan Luis Sanchez and Oso, with Jose Carmona, that being his final action, that attempt at goal, being removed from the field of play for Sanchez, and Suazo out for Oso. That's both fullbacks being switched by Luis Garcia, the man who is heading up this Sevilla team as they battle against the drop. From 5 games in charge, this is his 6th. They have won 2 and lost 3 of the 5. Perhaps I ought to put my teeth in and try that again. From 5 games in charge, they have won 3 and lost 2 under the reign of Luis Garcia, Sevilla. His first match was the defeat to Real Oviedo, bottom of the table. The omen's bad from the off there, but he recovered quickly with a victory over Atletico Madrid. Champions League semi-finalists this season, of course. Undone by Arsenal, who will face PSG at the end of the month. Levante and Osasuna both able to score victories over Sevilla before a bounce-back win against Real Sociedad last time out, but defeat here would not do them any favours. Here goes Juan Luis Sanchez with the fresh legs down the right-hand side, chasing a loose ball from Vargas. His delivery across the floor is intercepted fairly comfortably in the end by Romero. And as it's played forward by Carlos Romero to be brought down by Terats. There's a collision between Gudelj and Fernandez. Seems as though Gudelj, going for a loose ball, just stands over the top of the foot of the Espanyol number 9. And he can appeal to the referee that there was no intention there, but a tangling of legs is exactly that. And it's one that the referee finds in favour of Espanyol for as they ready their first substitution of the day. We're going to see the withdrawal of Ruben Sanchez. 4 changes made for Sevilla to this point in the first 20 minutes of this second half. Now here comes Espanyol's first, and it's going to be Charles Piquel, Democratic Republic of Congo international, who's brought onto the field. Piquel, a goal scorer relatively recently for Espanyol, who have found goals very hard to come by. You have to go back 7 games for this one, but prior to kick-off today it was their 3rd most recent goal in a 2-1 defeat to Mallorca. He scored and he was sent off in that game. His suspension has well and truly been served. Now there's a foul committed again by Gudelj, and again on Fernandez, and the complaints from the Sevilla captain are that he did nothing wrong, but there are both hands on the shirt of Roberto Fernandez. I'm not sure what the complaint is there from the Sevilla number 6. Perhaps it's just the nature of this free kick, because we are on the corner of the Sevilla penalty area. Edu Exposito standing over the top of it. He has the most assists of anybody in this Espanyol team this season as the set piece taker. Can he make it 7 from 6? It's Exposito, and it's clawed away by Vlachodimos, who watched that all the way towards his top corner there. Exposito perhaps hoping that if nobody in blue was going to get on the end of it, it might find a way in on its own. It's bent beautifully towards that top corner, Vlachodimos watching it all the way, and he had to be at full stretch to push it away. Corner kick to come. Exposito's not going to take this one. Steady lurks on the edge of the box as an in-swinging delivery is readied for the away side. In goes the cross. Punched half away by Vlachodimos. Exposito hoping to recover it on the edge of the box, but he's beaten to it by a player in white, and here comes a Sevilla counter-attack. It's Chidera Ejuke and nobody else here for Sevilla. He does deliver into the box as Sanchez arrives as reinforcements. He's not going to get to the ball first. The clearance is made and mopped up by Juan Luis Sanchez now as Sevilla get the ball back on the deck. It's Gudelj, and it's Salas down the line on the left hand side of the pitch. Oso twisting and turning. Can he make space for a shot at goal? He can. It finds its way all the way through the penalty area and into the arms of Dimitrovic. Looked like more of a pass into the danger area there by Oso than a direct strike at goal, but perhaps similar to that Exposito free kick just a second ago. He might have hoped that it had enough on it to sneak beyond the goalkeeper of its own accord if there was nobody in white to latch onto it. In the end, neither of those dreams become a reality for Sevilla, and they remain a goal down as we approach the 69th minute of this match. Tyrese Dolan, the man who has given Espanyol the advantage at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. Challenge made on the left-hand side of the field now from a Sevilla point of view on Neil Mopé from behind by Omar El Hilali. It's one that he got right, but he conceded a throw as a result, and it's switched from left to right now for Sevilla. It's Sanchez, it's deflected, it could have gone anywhere. Juan Luis Sanchez trying from the edge of the penalty area. It's bounced away off of Cabrera, and it will go behind for a corner, which is taken quickly here for Sevilla. Return to Sanchez, the corner taker. The delivery is inviting, and it's headed over the top. Really powerful header there from Andres Lopez, putting everything he had behind that header. He's got to hit the target in that kind of position. The delivery is perfect from Alexis Sanchez. Plumb on the head of the imposing number 32 for Sevilla. Level with the penalty spot. Plenty of power, plenty of purchase on the header itself. Just not the right direction. Can't keep it low enough. You have to imagine Sevilla are going to spend the rest of this game knocking until that Espanyol door comes down. Vlachodimos, the goalkeeper, with a long clearance now. Down the left-hand side. Ejuke on the chase, and he bundles into El Hilali as a result. The referee says nothing about the 50-50. El Hilali took the final touch of the ball before it went out of play. Throw in halfway into the Espanyol half on the left for Sevilla. Good turn by Gibril So. Looking for the feet of Mopé. It doesn't quite come off for Sevilla, but the recovery is Sanchez's. And this time Salas getting a bit too over familiar with Edu Exposito. He was trying to maintain possession for Espanyol on the edge of the centre circle. It'll be a free kick for Espanyol from just inside their own half. It's a free kick that doesn't come to much. It was attempted to be threaded in behind for the run of Tyrese Dolan, the goal scorer, who wasn't quite on the wavelength of his teammates. Played out by Vlachodimos to the right-hand side for Juan Luis Sanchez, who drives it down the line. Sanchez was chasing it down, and there's a collision now between Sanchez and Terats, which the referee does blow his whistle for. Terats, the aggressor on that occasion, who pleads his innocence. Very theatrical tumble by Juan Luis Sanchez. Sevilla very keen to get the game going again. Ruben Vargas will take this free kick on the right hand side of the pitch. Bodies in the box for Sevilla. Vargas. Sanchez tries to bring it down on the edge of the box. He goes tumbling to the ground. Referee says nothing about that one, and perhaps Espanyol can create something on the counter. Dolan gets away from one and is tripped by another, and immediately goes to have some crosswords with Djibril Sow, and all of a sudden everybody's pushing and shoving around the fallen Tyrese Dolan here. Referee's got to gain control of this game. Sevilla starting to stress. You can just see it in every action that is taken in this game now. Every challenge made, every time the whistle is blown. Tyrese Dolan is booked now for his part in this very, very brief thrashing of handbags. Yellow cards for Djibril Sow and for Ruben Vargas as well. Well, that means a suspension for the next game for Tyrese Dolan because of the amount of yellow cards he has accumulated. Oh, I'm wrong in who's been awarded a yellow card for Sevilla. In fact, it's also the substitute. I believe it's he and Vargas who have drawn the ire of the referee. Well, Dolan got away from Sow. I'm not sure what happened with the collision on the edge of the Sevilla penalty area to do with Sanchez. But Dolan is chopped down by a combination of Djibril Sow and Ruben Vargas. And then as Dolan gets up after the clip on the ankle from the Sevilla substitute, the melee begins for a very brief time before bodies wearing both shirt colours separate everybody involved. Well, we're ready for two more substitutions for Espanyol and the final one of the day for Sevilla. First things first, Carlos Romero is going to be brought off the field. His replacement is Jose Salinas. And the other change will see Tyrese Dolan. Oh, excuse me, no it won't. The other change will see Ramon Terrats brought off of the pitch for Jofre Carreras. That's your double change for Espanyol. Sevilla, it remains unclear who will be coming off the pitch, although I have a good guess that it'll be Neil Maupay, because the man ready to come on is Akor Adams. And I am going to stand corrected, in fact. It's not going to be a like for like of one striker for another. Adams is on the field, yes, but Vargas is removed. Well, that's a winger for an out-and-out striker there, so it appears the formation for Sevilla for these closing stages of this game, the last 15 minutes, is going to change. Alexis Sanchez is on, Neil Maupay is on, Akor Adams is on, and Chidera Ejuke remains on the pitch. Let's see how they approach this very important 15 minutes of football in their season. That's all 5 changes made now by Luis Garcia. Manolo Gonzalez still with 2 at his disposal if he wishes. Forward it goes now for Espanyol. It's into the Sevilla half where it's brought down by Exposito. Couldn't quite release it in time. Challenge made from behind by Djibril Sow. And Juan Luis Sanchez gets a bit fortunate with the touch away from Exposito to get into the Espanyol half of the pitch. It's laid off to Maupay, who's very much acting as a hold-up player in this second half. He's had little opportunity to strike towards goal himself, but he has done a lot in terms of the build-up play, and so is this man now, Ejuke, getting into the penalty area on the left, turns and lays it off to Osso. Osso backwards, and it's a smart touch to open up the space for Djibril Sow, and it deflects all the way through the penalty area and claims from the Sevilla players, including the captain Goodels, who is crestfallen at the decision by the referee to say no, that will be a goal kick. The final touch came off a Sevilla man, not an Espanyol one. But it's an Espanyol man who is down on the turf. In fact, it's Urco Gonzalez who did his best to get in the way of an opportunity there for Sevilla, jumping and being fed a dummy by Goodels. And the landing he suffers is an awkward one. And somehow in the midst of all this, El Hilali, the fullback, is also limping away from the experience that just took place. the result of which is an Espanyol goal kick taken by Dimitrovic, and I believe it's going to be taken again here. I'm not entirely sure what just happened there as Dimitrovic took the kick. The referee's coming over to just have a word with Marko Dimitrovic. It's a drop ball. What on earth happened there? That was unusual. Well, Dimitrovic will pick it up. I think the referee was meant to award a drop ball, and it was misconstrued as a goal kick. And now the clearance is made by Dimitrovic. Well, that was a load of nothing. Tempted to be sent back where it came from by Sevilla. Reaches the centre circle before it's brought down again for Espanyol and lifted out to the left-hand side. Chased down by the fresh legs of Jofre Carreras. Doesn't reach it. Now Fernandez is involved in a tie-up with Andres Lopez, which the referee finds in favour of Sevilla on this occasion. Free kick awarded, taken short by Lopez, taken quickly back to his goalkeeper Vlachodimos, who sends it forward. Adams gets his first touch with a knockdown. Mopé holds it up long enough to find Juan Luis Sanchez, and now So feeds it into the feet of Adams again, who just about releases it before the pressure from behind built up enough to see him dispossessed on the halfway line. Also, Salas to Lopez. Lopez down the line, allowed to drive 30, 40 yards, approaching the edge of the box now as he lays it off to Alexis Sanchez. Lopez stays forward as Sanchez tries to find his namesake Juan Luis Sanchez down the right. And the ball just has a bit too much on it. An arm-up-in apology from the Chilean, as the referee indicates for an Espanyol goal kick. It's only the second goal in La Liga this season for Tyrese Dolan, whose yellow card in the preceding 15 minutes means that he will not be able to follow up the fact that he has scored the opening goal in this game with another next time Espanyol take to the field. But if that goal is enough to give them 3 points at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium, it's a goal that neither he or anybody else who supports this football club will forget any time in the immediate future. Here goes Oso down the left. Sevilla determined to carry on rolling the dice until it falls in their favour. It's Gudelj. It's a low drive from 30 yards that Dimitrovic gets right behind. Fancied his chances in this second half as Nemanja Gudelj, few opportunities from left of centre between the 25 and 35 yard range or so. That one, it was the quality of the strike. Just about let him down. Long clearance made by Dimitrovic, and a foul has been committed on a Sevilla player in the immediate aftermath. Juan Luis Sanchez brought down. The kick is taken now, the free kick by Lopez. Chested down well by Adams. So on the edge of the box, able to get it to Ajuke, who has his pocket picked. Not much of a clearance though, intercepted by Salas, and it's played out to the left by Ajuke again. Oso. Ajuke tries to lay it off to Mopé, can't find him on the edge of the box, intercepted, and now the counter is on for Espanyol. Tyrese Dolan, not quite as much life in his legs at this stage of the game, still enough to twist and turn away from two players in white. He goes down in a heap after a collision, referee says nothing about it. Sevilla can try and reignite their attack. Here's Djibril Sow across the centre circle into the feet of Lopez, who's allowed to drive forward. Lopez right to the corner of the box. Still Lopez into the penalty area. Lopez! It's gone in! What a brilliant individual goal from Andres Lopez! Who on earth saw that coming? Dimitrovic defeated with just under 10 minutes left of this game. Andres Lopez, of all people, the centre half, he had absolutely no right to do what he just did. Given the ball on the edge of the centre circle, he was able to take about 5 touches and completely barge his way through the Espanyol back line right of centre. It's just a straight line run right into the penalty area. It's a tight angle where he takes on the shot. And there's the faintest of touches from Dimitrovic, who is not expecting that will cause him any trouble whatsoever. And it just bounces before it nestles into the far corner. That is an unbelievable goal from an unbelievable source. And Sevilla are level after all. Egg on the face of Marko Dimitrovic. As Espanyol ready 2 more substitutions. This is their last roll of the dice if they want to take 3 points from this game. Off goes the number 9, Roberto Fernandez. He is replaced by Quique Garcia. And Edu Exposito's race is run. He will be brought off the field for Paul Lozano, who was the most recent goal scorer for Espanyol prior to this game. He was the man that put the ball in the net as they fell 4-1 to Barcelona. That was preceded by a defeat to Vallecano, a scoreless draw with Levante, and a 2-0 loss to Real Madrid. And now all of a sudden, the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium is bouncing. They fancy themselves now. They have kept knocking on this Espanyol door. It's finally come open, and now they're planning to kick it down in the closing stages. They just need to make sure that they guard their own in the process. Lozano releases it in time, and as it's attempted to be threaded down the right hand side for a counter by Quique, the chase for Dolan is cut out by an interception from Osso. Gibril So gives it away on the halfway line, and it's ambitious, and the referee blows his whistle as the strike from the edge of the centre circle, if you can believe that, from Terats. From Lozano. Terats substituted about 10 minutes ago. My eye's playing tricks on me here as Osso gets it forward again for Sevilla. Switches from left to right. I'm not sure that's what he was hoping for there as he delivered into the box, but it's recovered by Juanlu Sanchez. He's got space for the delivery, and it's headed away. It's to the edge of the box now. Ejuke tries to get it out of his feet. It's closed down at source. Recovered by Salas. Sevilla fancying themselves now as we tick into the final 5 minutes of this game. Neil Mopé. Osso waits for options, finds one in Ejuke. He switches from left to right. Sanchez in space to bring it down. Juanlu Sanchez tries to find Neil Mopé on the edge of the box. His first touch just about escapes him. And now here come Espanyol getting bodies forward. First touch is a good one from Jofre Carreras, and he is going to chase down this loose ball. He and Jose Salinas, between them, are able to hold off the Sevilla defence. And Carreras' touch into the penalty area is too heavy. Challenge from behind now on Neil Mopé by Paul Lozano. Free kick awarded Sevilla's way. Mopé wants to take it quickly. There's just a shoulder barge in the back by Paul Lozano. A few complaints to be had. Plenty of nail biting going on in the stands in Seville. Can they find something more out of this game? It was a goal from out of nowhere that has drawn them level from Andres Lopez. Number 32, the big centre half, took the ball on, took on the responsibility from the edge of the centre circle. Must have run 50 yards to get into the penalty area on the right hand side, and he took the shot on. It was a shot that left something to be desired, but Dimitrovic, tired, flung an arm at it, couldn't push it out. Vacodemos is going to pick up the pieces here for Sevilla. Just as a side note to what's happening on the pitch, Sevilla's support of their team, despite the predicament they find themselves in the league table, is still undeniable. Just shy of 40,000 people packed into this stadium this afternoon. Lozano. Piquel. Tripped after releasing the ball back to Lozano. Appeals to the referee, fall on deaf ears as Lozano is forced to turn, and just about being inside the Sevilla half. There's nobody behind him apart from his own goalkeeper, who he finds. Dimitrovic's long clearance is brought down for Sevilla. Here is Mope on the right. Seems as though he shifted out to the right hand side of the midfield four, or perhaps that should be an attacking four at this stage, with Ejuke now lifting it over the top for the chase of Sanchez, who's only going to recover the ball because it bounces off the corner flag, but Sanchez himself has tripped over the corner flag. And after a small slice of fortune, Espanyol are able to half clear their lines. They've won a throw on the left hand side about 15 yards back from the halfway line. Plenty of Sevilla fans inside of this ground holding their breath, with less than 2.5 minutes of normal time to play. The game on a knife edge. I think we're about to see a Sevilla free kick here. The referee indicating in the direction of the Espanyol goal. A push in the back by Cabrera on Alexis Sanchez. A bit needless, that was. And also puts the ball down on the spot that the referee has indicated. An opportunity to deliver into the penalty area from the right hand side. It'll be an in-swinging delivery by Osso. Plenty of bodies forward for Sevilla. In goes the cross, headed away on the edge of the box. No time wasted there in getting it away by Cabrera, the man that conceded that free kick. Throw in on the left hand side now for Sevilla. Less than 90 seconds of normal time to play. Luis Garcia on the touchline for Sevilla, screaming orders at his team, and I'll be amazed if they can hear him over the top of everybody else wearing white inside of the stadium, screaming orders at their team. They want the 3 points. They need the 3 points. But to be fair, Espanyol would massively benefit from that themselves, as Juan Luis Sanchez is going to mop up a potential counter-attack now for Espanyol. His first touch was cautious, and his second sees the ball back to Vlachodimos, who wastes no time with the clearance. Sanchez holds on, and the referee has just called for offside here. Alexis Sanchez thought that he might have won a free kick after being bundled down from behind by Calero. But it appears that he started his move from behind both defenders for Espanyol. Dimitrovic coming forward for this free kick. Chance for them to get bodies forward as all eyes turn to the fourth official within the next 10 seconds. Lopez, the defender, the man who got the equaliser, unable to stop the counter-attack at this moment by letting it go out of play. Here is Carreras. Twisting and turning, finding space for the cross. It's intercepted by Lopez again, brought down by Adams. Carreras bundles his way into Juan Luis Sanchez. And as it goes out of play for an Espanyol throw on the left-hand side, it's the turn of their supporters to shout at their team, try and get the best out of them. Are you ready for how many minutes we're going to have added on at the end of this game? Just the 7. This game is anybody's to win here, and every decision that is in any way contentious now sees everybody in the ground on their feet appealing. Just now a throw-in's been awarded on the halfway line, and everybody behind the ball as it went out stands for Sevilla. They want it going their way as it's played forward and brought down by Ejuke. Adams! What a finish! What a finish from Akor Adams! And Sevilla have turned it around. It's taken just a minute of the additional 7 at the end of this game for their top scorer in La Liga this season to find goal number 9. It might be the most crucial one of all. That is brilliant from Akor Adams on the edge of the penalty area. Credit to Ejuke, whose persistence as the ball is launched forward for Sevilla to keep it in their possession allows the big man, the number 9, the substitute, who in the process of finding that opportunity, has had a coming together with Cabrera, and Espanyol will contend this until the cows come home, but the ball is knocked down into the path of Akor Adams, whose first time strike is nestled into the bottom right corner from his perspective. There's a faintest of touches from a diving Dimitrovic to his left, but he can't claw it beyond his post. There'll be a yellow card for the celebration, certainly, because the shirt came off for Akor Adams, but he very much will not care, because Sevilla are in front, and they're going to have about 5 minutes now to defend this lead. Could that goal not have come 4 minutes later, perhaps? Whatever the case, it might be enough for 3 points for Luis Garcia's team and for them to take an almighty stride towards La Liga safety. The game's recommencing now, which means that any VAR checks of potential fouls have fallen on deaf ears. Here is Adams again. It's not taken long for Sevilla to regain possession. Sanchez tries to thread it down the line back to Adams. Not going to find his target. Throw-in to come now for Espanyol. They've nothing to lose at this stage. They're going to get as many bodies forward as they can. Sevilla, with something very precious indeed to protect at this stage, are going to have everybody behind the ball at every available opportunity. Throw in slightly further forward now on the left-hand side for Espanyol, just about inside of Sevilla territory. Lifted forward by Cabrera, the captain. He gets the return now after the half clearance for Sevilla and shepherds it back to Dimitrovic. Long clearance made now by the goalkeeper. Allowed to bounce and headed down into the arms of Vlachodimos, and every single time Sevilla get purchase on the ball, it will feel as good as another goal as they look to see out this game. Vlachodimos with the clearance. Adams trying to get underneath it, doesn't beat Cabrera in the air. Nodded down for Tyrese Dolan. Throw-in is one on the right-hand side for Espanyol. Their fans are hanging their heads now. They know how important this win would be for them too. They had it in their hands and they had it taken away. Goals from Akor Adams and Andres Lopez making the difference for Sevilla. And now it's Nemanja Gudelj, the captain, who's going down on the turf. There's a little bit of cramp, and how many times have you seen this before? Just for anybody unaware, Andres Lopez, the goal scorer, also referred to as Castrin as a surname. It just now occurs to me that not everybody will have known who I was talking about as that goal was scored. But regardless of what you know him as, he's the man who's got a very important goal that dragged Sevilla level in this game. And Akor Adams, absolutely no question as to his name. It's all over the back of his shirt, which has been lost somewhere in the Sevilla grandstand. Gudelj, the captain, now back to his feet after that moment of injury. 90 seconds of the additional 7 to play. You have to imagine that the referee will be a little bit generous with the added time here. We may well reach the 100th minute of this match, because the goal celebrations followed by a fairly lengthy injury concern there to the Sevilla captain. Forward it goes now for Espanyol. Headed down in the penalty area by Cabrera, and trying to reach it just inside the 6-yard box at full stretch was Quique Garcia. What a moment that would have been if he'd got there ahead of Vlachodimos for the away team. Vlachodimos will hold on to this ball for as long as he is allowed. And it's an almighty throw right the way down the pitch, over the halfway line. And another clearance made by Juan Luis Sanchez, greeted by an eruption of cheers. Nodded down now by Calero. It's going to be kept alive for Sevilla, deep inside the Espanyol half of the pitch with Ejuke. Twists and turns and plays it back to Osso. Oh, Osso slipped. Oh dear, this might not bode well. Here come Espanyol. There's plenty of bodies back for Sevilla. It's played forward by Paul Lozano, out to the left-hand side, and there's just too much on it for Quique Garcia, who gave up with his run. That was a really good chance that came from nothing for Espanyol there, and the frustration is evident on the faces of the travelling fans. Neil Maupay will take as much time as he's allowed with this throw, and we're about to tick into the 97th minute. Will this be the grand finish to this game, or will the referee be generous with the delays that have taken place during this additional 7? Forward it goes by Juan Luis Sanchez, and everybody for Sevilla is appealing for the whistle. They're not going to get it just yet. Forward from Cabrera. Maupay goes down. Plenty of appeals for a free kick. Fall on deaf ears here. Throw in for Espanyol. Sevilla can't believe the full-time whistle's not gone. That's all they're waiting for here. The bench is up on their feet as well for Sevilla. The referee just telling them all to sit back down. We're not done yet. There's going to be a throw-in to be taken by Cabrera, the Espanyol captain, that is going to go right the way into the penalty area, and this certainly feels like last chance saloon. Cabrera with the long throw. It's allowed to bounce. It's taken a touch off a Sevilla man. It's Juan Luis Sanchez who concedes the corner. 99 minutes on the clock, and everybody's coming forward for this, even Marko Dimitrovic. Nothing to lose for Espanyol. Get bodies in the box. Can they find an equaliser? It's going to be Lozano with the delivery. In swinging. Right-footed. Kicking the camera equipment to one side here as players have their hands on one another in the box. A yellow card is awarded to 2 or 3 different players here. I'm losing track of who the referee is having a word with here. I think Calero for Espanyol is one of them, and Maupay is another for Sevilla. Surely this is the last chance of the game. Lozano with the delivery. It's allowed to bounce. It's a missed kick from Calero, and the referee waves away any appeals. Calero goes down, and I think the claim was for an Espanyol spot kick. I'm not sure what the referee's awarded here. There's a waving away of the players inside of the penalty area. Calero with a missed kick, and he goes down of his own accord. It'd be very brave to claim for a penalty. I'm not entirely sure what the referee has awarded here. It's definitely not a spot kick. Calero remains on the floor. I think the follow-up to this is either going to be a retake of the corner or a goal kick. I'm not 100% sure, but this game is going to reach the 101st minute, I think, before the full-time whistle goes. Calero is still down, milking this for everything he's got. Neil Maupay and Charles Piquel having crosswords with one another now over the top of the fallen number 5. The Sevilla fans desperate to hear that full-time whistle. I think they know it's coming as the referee walks away from the incident. The next action, I believe, is going to be a Vlachodimos clearance, and that might be that. I don't think there's a question of whether or not Adams has committed a foul there on Calero, who is finally helped away from where he was crumpled to the floor. And it's a Sevilla goal kick after all. Vlachodimos' clearance, and the referee still hasn't blown the final whistle. Adams heads it up into the air. It's launched forward, and there it is. Oh, it dragged on just a little too long for the comfort of most of the people inside of the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. But they have done enough. They have gotten over the line. It's 3 wins from 6 for Sevilla since the appointment of Luis Garcia, and their La Liga status, which looked so contentious leading into this run-in, has been given a huge, huge confidence injection. A comeback victory against Espanyol after a nothing first half. Tyrese Dolan got the ball rolling for the visitors with his second La Liga goal of the season. But in the final 10 minutes, or 10 that turned into 20, I suppose, given the extortionate amount of added time, the goals came from Andres Lopez Castrin, and the winner from Akor Adams, a substitute, as the game ticked into extra time to see out 3 vital points and drag Sevilla kicking and screaming away from the bottom 3. Espanyol's position is just as precarious now as their hosts. As the full-time whistle is blown in Seville, it is Sevilla 2, Espanyol 1. Thank you very much for tuning into this live audio coverage. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. I've been Jay Cooper, and we'll see you very soon for some more live football action. Goodbye for now.